with that, because if you don't know how to breathe, you ain't conditioned properly, and you don't understand how to give your lungs the capacity to fight against a bigger fight, it's irrelevant how many skills you're gonna have, because you won't get a chance to use them, because you're gonna be waking up in the locker room. Get it? So diaphragmatic breathing.
In order for Tank to win the fight, and people have to always remember that Jake Paul is no longer a YouTuber. He is actually a pro now. So with that being said, he trains to hurt people every day. So if he throws a punch, he can actually hit Tank and knock him out. You know, he's a bigger man. So he can't just go. That's why Tank is saying what he's saying. He can't just go in there like this is just some kind of playground type thing. But in order for Tank to win, he is going to have to move quite a bit, and he's going to have to move strategically. He's not going to have. It's going to be moving in spurts, fighting in spots, and using scientific location to win. Because weight-wise, this might be as far as a pro fight, this might be the most anybody's ever outweighed an opponent, and definitely this is the most anyone's ever gone up in weight. Usually, unless you're a heavyweight in all of America, most states are like 7 pounds, and I think the max that New York or Florida will give you is like 12 usually, that you can outweigh your opponent before they reschedule the fight. That's why you see guys that are underweight. A lot of times they'll weigh in with their clothes on or something, So it's gonna be something to see.
Well, I tell you, that kid, the juice that they had, I think Tank really knows what he has to do. And I think Jake is really excited. When I saw him, and I'm gonna speak to their team, right? So I talked with Jake, right? And so he hadn't really, these guys who are around us are reporters. They don't really know boxing. They just like boxing, and they report it, and they have to write things down that'll be right. And so what I decided that I was going to do is get a team of reporters, which I already have, and I'm going to school those guys from my vantage point of what boxers feel comfortable asking, and that are questions that they want to engage with you on. So I'm going to do just a camp, like a boot camp, on teaching those guys the vernacular that relates, or the boxer can relate to. So if you're a reporter, or you got a channel and you really want to know how to really get into the fighter's spirit and talk to them like they like to be talked to, then let me know by hitting me up in the DMs, because we're going to do that, because the game needs awareness. And a lot of questions are just redundant, and they're just irrelevant to anybody who's listening most of the time. And not knocking anybody, because we all trying to improve. But if you want something to improve, then you got to be somebody who's willing to step out here and help them improve. Now, when I go back to this and I talk with Jake, he double, triple what I talked about, because I threw one out there at him, because we sitting there face to face, just chilling, right? And it was just like, he heard me talking, and he looked up, and he just sat back, and it was just like, and he just did a double take. And I had my team, they were recording everything and stuff. And I said, I know your coaches, and your coaches all admitted that. I mean, not all, but the ones I talked to was like, yo, I've been watching your guy. I said, did you see the one that we put up the other day? He said, I've been watching your videos for years. I was like, okay, makes sense. I appreciate that. Most men ain't going to just come forth and say stuff like that. But I appreciate the honesty. But what happened is, he didn't feel like he had to gear up for an answer. And it was like, out of everybody that was talking, it was just like, boom. And so I'm going to post the conversation tomorrow or Friday. So y'all be tuning into the reels. You'll see exactly what I'm telling you. And that's the way fighters want to feel. They want to feel like, oh, yeah, this question right down my, you know what I'm saying? Because everything else is just redundancy. And then he reached down and he was able to just kick it. And I talked to the CEO, Nakisa, and I told him, I said, I wasn't a big fan of yours. I just didn't understand your energy. And you just were too humble all the time. And then I realized, and I looked him up and I saw what he did. And I told him, wifey had said, oh, check him out. And that conversation, not the conversation, but us engaging, you saw it. You will see exactly what I saw when he did it. And he was sitting down and he looked up and we was talking. And then he turned around and then he stood up and then he just opened up. And it was just like, I realized, man, that's the coolest. I said, that dude is the coolest dude you want to meet. Like, I only watched him sit next to Jake and it's like he just rah and Jake and stuff. And another thing about Jake, until you sit there and look at that dude in his face, you do not know that dude. Like that's the kind of dude you be like, wake up on Saturday morning and be like, yo, come over, watch cartoons, eat cereal, and sit in the bed and just be hanging out all day. You know he can come up with stuff to do. But he's just that kind of dude that you can just do stuff with and just ain't never got to worry about not being able to trust him. That's what people really don't know about Jake, like who he is to the core. Like, he stand up for things. Obviously, he's doing a tremendous job with women's boxing right now. That's impacting boxing all over the place. And so I'm not telling people, hey, go jump on this bandwagon. What I'm telling you is he's changing and he's creating a lane. And every single person that is hating on that dude right now, he's doing the thing that you hate most for you and most likely your kids, and you don't even realize it, because everybody that is watching him is going to benefit from everything that he's doing, and he don't even care if you give him his flowers and stuff. So I just want y'all to pay attention, keep your stance where you are. I'm not telling nobody to switch sides. I'm just saying, when you judge people, I did it wrong with this Nikisa. I was wrong, like so wrong. Like, he's so the dude I would just chill with, like, not because of anything, but when a man opens up his soul, we had that time. Like, that was that. I was like, you different. And that's the kind of person that I see myself as to people. When you understand what that means, you can't open it up like that to people who don't understand, who ain't gone through enough. Like, most people, they get bitter at people who are successful because they're not willing to go through what successful people will go through. We will go through more, and you got to learn to go through more. But that means sacrificing things, the things that make you comfortable, your family, your closest friends, your high school sweethearts, your buddies, all that stuff. That stuff, you got to be willing to sacrifice that, because that's not who's going to get you to the level that you're trying to get to. You got to build a team that has that same DNA and has already walked that walk. Success leaves clues. So who are you around that's already super successful, possibly a multi-millionaire or a billionaire? Because that's where you got to get your clues from in life. So the pastor from your church, if you go to church, and people who have the other areas of your life, self-development coaching, personal development coaches. And so this is kind of what's surrounding that team. They put on for you guys, but it's different. I'm here to tell you. And now I know that it's a real fight, because nobody sold me anything. It was me in observation, what was actually happening last night. So with that being said, it's a real fight. And from New York to Miami, the exact same thing went through Tank's head. These dudes are some real dudes, and they making some real moves. And this gonna be a real fight. All you got to do is go back and look at the video. He realized this is a real fight, and we gonna fight. Tank might box some and do everything and just win the fight. It could be a knockout. Jake might get lucky, change history of boxing. Who knows? But you gotta watch it to see, because you ain't gonna just know. People just thought they knew with Crawford and Canelo. 90% of people that was pulling for Crawford start pulling for him after this fight had been going for about 3 months, 4 months. People knew about it. They start leaning over back, like, yeah, I think Crawford could win. But ain't nobody, when they first announced it, believed it at all. 0 people, don't even front. I can go pull up data. I can go back to April and pull up all comments and what are you doing? He crazy. Canelo kill him. Like, but you believed in it and you had to watch it to find out. You got to watch this fight to see what's going to happen. Tank know he in a fight. Calvin Ford know they in the fight. It's going to be a fight, man. It's going to be a trip. But they opening up a new lane. They're opening up a new lane, and you are going to benefit from it. Promise what I'm saying. Because they brought the major network. They brought the big boy, and those people are working over there at Netflix. I got to work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. It was crazy to work with that level of professionalism. Insane. So there is that. But go ahead, Big O.
Oh, I just was just sitting back, just thinking about the fight in itself, like more the rules side of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I don't know. I know they switched the glove size.
Yeah, like a real fight, glove size, weight wise, because I mean, I like.
He can't come in above 195. Tank was like, I said 190. So they were going back and forth about that.
190? And how much is Tank going to weigh?
He don't know.
150, 140 or something?
He'll probably, I think Tank is bigger than people understand him to be. I don't see him walking around. I know he was 160. Easy. Maybe 160.
Yeah, I've heard of him being 160 before. I think he can probably make 150, but then I mean, and it's gonna come down to training too, because like you got to keep your weight on, but your feet got to be able to move fast. So, like, you know, how are we gonna do that without shedding the pounds? But I'm more just wrapping my mind around about the sanctioning parts of it. Like, what is the state of Florida gonna do as far as their rules? Like, how are they gonna bend it to make it a legal fight? Like, if someone gets hurt, like, is there legal ramifications? Like,
yeah, let me get into that. I see my man SP00 Spood asked me, did I go to the press? Yes, I'm a part of the fight promotion. So yeah, so I put some footage up on the page. So go check it out on at Master Boxing. You know, anywhere where we are on the social media, and it'll be stuff going up. You know, I got some real behind the scene conversations and some real footage for your guys to entertain and enjoy. My man Ryan Main said that, you know, if it's a serious fight, and it is a serious fight, Tank outboxes him easily, but can get hit. Can I get knocked out? A bigger guy like that. Yeah, he knows this. He knows. Look, man, bruh. Roy Jones said it himself. Everybody know Jake Paul can fucking fight. That's not the question. The question ain't that no more. The question is, can he figure out the ring enough to catch and set traps for somebody who's been in the sport his entire life? Otis can speak to experience matters, and every once in a while you get a unicorn who doesn't need the same amount of time. And Coach Larry Wade and I, would you guys like to see that full conversation? We've had several, but if you want to see the full one, I'll put the full one up of me and Coach Wade just chopping it up on some real shit. I'll put it up. I just using slices every once in a while, but I'll put it up and you can hear it from the horse's mouth, like their regimen, what they do, like what's real. Like, you know, that's a champ. That's a champion camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you train champions. If this dude's processor and he has the right courage, if his processor is aligned with his heart, his courage, his willpower, and his nervous system he goes to specialists. He understands that stuff, a lot of it anyway. The most you can expect to understand in a 5-year period of time. Okay, so like Tank ain't stupid. Like Tank, no, oh, it's really gonna be a real fight. This dude isn't just big. Like he fought Mike Tyson. Anybody get in the ring with Mike Tyson, you got to be a little crazy. I don't care which Mike. When you watch that dude still move, you knew I'm gonna get at least 3 minutes of the scariest moment of my life. And anybody that signed up for that,
yeah,
you know,
you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah, he told me last night. He said, I'm really crazy. I just like to fight. I don't give a fuck. You can't take something out of a person. Fighters are born, champions are made. If he do the rest of the stuff, he can be a champion. Like that dude's so locked in. He said, I got hundreds of millions of dollars more than all of these guys at the gym that I'm training at. And I'm out working them all like I'm the broke one. That's boxing. Everybody want it all, but they won't do what the dude is doing who got it all. Who walked in, he got a $5 million watch on. Be like, you got to do more than what you're doing. You're not doing enough. And if you are doing a lot, it probably doesn't have structure, frameworks, and science and lineage. He got all of that. J'Leon Love,
it's hard.
BJ Flores, when he was in that camp, gave him things that he would have taken 15 years to have to learn. Then he got with J'Leon, who got into the University of the Mayweather downline and learned from Floyd to become a champion, and would have never probably become a champion without that lineage. Got that, and now moved over here and given it to Jake. I mean, and I'm listening to J'Leon teach. J'Leon is coaching. Like those coaches are coaching. Those dudes are not fucking playing, man. Like they get paid to give me everything that's in your head. I'm paying for your 10,000 hours, champ. What does that cost? Get it to me. And they commit it because they don't have to worry about anything, because they don't have to have other clients or fighters, because he's paying for their time, and they can lock in and they can be in camp and they can go isolation. I'm talking to Coach Wade on the joint. I was like, you in a hotel? He was like, no, I'm at the Villa. We over here, and I ain't gonna tell the people where they are. I'm here. I'm like, okay. He's like, that's what it is now. There's no distractions and stuff. People just got to understand. He was showing you a little bit of what Floyd showed you. He showed you what it actually looks like, but the only thing you guys can really pay attention to is the glitz and glam, not the vomiting, not the transient recovery methods. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna say earlier, like when you were talking about that, and it's the same thing. It really does, and I learned this from being around Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm glad I did at an early age in boxing, because it really, helped me seeing the rest of the way. It takes a special individual to go out and make as much as a person may make in a year in one night, and then still have the ability to wake up and go do it again. Like it takes a special individual like Oscar De La Hoya, and these people, like they were making at that time $25 million, $50 million a fight, and it's like crazy. I was like, at his house up at Big Bear at his training facility, which is a group of houses that he has bought up there, right? And he beat me downstairs, waking up, to go eat breakfast. Or actually go run before breakfast, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat Oscar, you know, and he already down there, had, you know, his little coffee and like out there, like, you know, doing his dynamic stretching, like, oh, you ready? Like, you know, I was just about to send somebody for you, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but see, you got like De La Hoya, like
that, like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine, I'm just
it's
trying
10
to,
years. He's
like, because
saving you.
people can't really imagine, like, if you wanted to right now, like somebody say, like, man, I never had a Egyptian dish cooked this way or whatever, right? And you like, oh well, shoot, let's get on the jet. Let's go over there and grab one right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can do that kind of stuff to be able to tame your flesh, to be like, when that alarm go off, to be like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna chill this time, because people are doing it for less. You understand what I'm saying? There are people making minimum wage that are like, you know what? Nah, I ain't finna go to McDonald's today. I'm gonna chill. You feel what I'm saying? So if you got that kind of money, and you've already and you have all these pleasures in life, and you've already accomplished so much, like, for you to be able to wake up like a Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, a Roy Jones, and all the other top athletes in the world, and go do that again, like my man Usain Bolt or whatever. Like, when you are like, what do you have to prove?
Yeah, well, that goes to show you it came from the soul. It didn't come from
that. So that's one thing I'm impressed with Jake, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And Roy told you guys, go look at my reel. I put Roy Jones right in it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, y'all ain't paying attention to Jake, then you're the stupid one. Like, this dude is serious. You can't fake this. When you got control over who you can fight, that's a huge part of development. You can't hate that part. That's what you want in boxing. It's called leverage. And you can only get leverage when you position yourself to be leveraging people.
Yeah.
And so he's not leveraged fighters. He's leveraged the game. He's leveraged the game. My man Spood said, he was asking, why did they go with 12s? Because Coach Calvin, who I was recently with over at the Hard Rock, said that he isn't fond of them fighting in 12s, and he don't know why that was assigned. And Jake was like, I didn't. He said, your team, and Calvin stepped back, said, I ain't see no decisions being made on that. So
I can tell you right now, because I went through it myself. Because when the reality show The Next Great Champ was being made, right? They weren't sure if we all were going to be pros, or because of the different levels of the pros. Like, for instance, I was turning pro. Some other people had like 8 fights as a pro, 6 fights, 4 fights. They were like, well, if somebody gets hurt, like Fox is concerned, right? If somebody gets hurt, we can be sued. So we're gonna have these guys fight in headgear and 12-ounce gloves. And then De La Hoya was like, no. the show would be a joke at that point, because they would be like, oh, well, this is just a tough man competition or whatever, So I'm willing to bet that like I was saying, because they're concerned about the weight difference and everything, and this has never been done in lawsuits and liability. I bet you that in brain damage and people don't realize it, but between 2012 to now, we've had the most people ever die in the history of the sport of boxing.
Crazy.
Between, but of the whole lifetime of boxing, from
period
72 to present, we've had the most people die in boxing between those years. So with that being said, and that being the climate, I'm willing to bet that the commission is like, no, you're going to wear 12-ounce gloves.
No, well, what happened is, Spood, and I got my man Jeffrey, I got you too. I'm gonna hit you up with. I'm gonna hit your statement too, but Tank's people, like Tank ain't even thinking about that kind of stuff, right? He ain't like even with Floyd. Floyd didn't care because he knew Leonard Ellerbe knew what to do. Roger Mayweather knew what to say in that room when it come down to what we gonna wear, what they not gonna wear. You know, like that's understanding. And so that's where it really boiled down from. And now, if it was a commission, they couldn't move it like that easy. They even said do 8s if you want to. Jake said, I wear 4s, 2s. I don't give a shit. I just want to fight. Get it? And so you gotta let's start respecting that he's not a fighter. Fuck everything else. Just know you walk in there, like Mike Tyson said it. I was sore as hell the next few days after that. You know what I'm saying? And then didn't appear to be a lot of exchange. Look, you know somebody on your block in the hood when you was growing up that had a one-punch hitter quitter. You done seen the dude do it like 7-8 times, knockout of the year kind of stuff. All right, let's act like that ain't not there. You know what I'm saying? Because these are people who fight, elite athletes. This ain't some cab driver that he's done that to, like Ben Askren. You know, thank God he was saved from his situation as of recently. And I hope he continues to recover too fully from that lung transplant. Then Nate Robinson, then you got Tyrone Woodley. Then he put down what's his face, Spider-Man from the UFC. Like people who don't even get knocked down, he knocked out. You just got to respect how he's taken boxing, made everybody look at him regardless. So let's say Tank is fighting a bigger guy. How did they pull that off?